Hello everyone! Trains are powerful, massive, and full of surprises. And when the unexpected happens, the camera never misses a thing. From shocking close calls to unbelievable moments on the tracks, these are the train clips you have to see to believe. Let's get it on. CCTV footage captured the terrifying moment two trains collided head-on in India. At one railway crossing where no safety barrier had ever been installed, local residents decided to take matters into their own hands and set up their own way of protecting drivers. In May 2022, northeastern India was hit by extreme weather. Torrential downpours and violent storms caused severe flooding, and at one train station the water level rose so high that entire trains were brought to a standstill.
Так, быстро подвязываем токоприемники.
Токоприемники, ребята.
Sparks flying beneath a moving train aren't always a warning sign of danger. Quite often it's the result of rail grinding, a process used to reduce corrosion and correct distortions in the track.
In 2015, security cameras in the Czech town of Paskov captured a railway accident.
In 2015, security cameras in the Czech town of Pasko recorded a railway disaster. A freight train traveling at 91 kilometers per hour derailed when a brake valve between the lead cars unexpectedly shut. The sudden stop caused cars to collide violently and scatter in every direction. On March 26, 2023, a Chicago resident was casually recording a freight train passing by. By sheer coincidence, he caught the exact moment on film, just minutes before the real event unfolded. For many train drivers, animals wandering onto the tracks are a regular hazard. In Sri Lanka, not even a massive elephant is intimidated by the sight of an oncoming train. Welcome to Hanoi, Vietnam's bustling capital, where trains run down a street so narrow that you could practically reach out of a nearby window and touch them. If your train unexpectedly slows down and begins crawling along the tracks, don't be too quick to blame the driver. Sometimes it's simply yielding to a herd of camels making their crossing. Train derailments are always startling events, especially because they don't happen often. In Europe, for example, there are only about 100 such cases recorded each year. In 2013, Polish rescue services organized a small educational demonstration for the public. The exercise powerfully illustrated the dangers of ignoring a red light and getting stuck on the rails with a train approaching. This colossal freight train stretches as far as the eye can see, transporting oil directly from the fields. It's almost impossible to grasp how many tons are being carried in a single journey.
This derailment sent those waiting for the T below running, as 7 rail cars tumbled from the tracks above, in the worst train accident within city limits in decades. Fortunately, the cars held nothing more dangerous or volatile than dog food and mouthwash. But as cleanup crews began the daunting task of clearing the wreckage and the debris, investigators set out to determine the cause. And today, the Federal Railroad Administration posted the findings of Norfolk Southern, which owns the train.
Train journeys in Bangladesh are not for the faint-hearted. When all the regular seats are full, locals have come up with their own bold solutions. It's no wonder passengers refused to step off at this particular station, even those who had planned to lose their nerve. On April 30th, 2014, the Lynchburg Railway Company faced its darkest day. A train transporting crude oil derailed and immediately erupted into flames. The inferno was so intense that towering columns of smoke were visible from every part of the city. Miraculously, there were no casualties.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about injuries. It didn't look like.
Fortunately, no one was injured.
You shouldn't litter on the railway tracks thinking it's harmless. Even a small pile of trash has the potential to derail a train. Railway workers dedicate themselves to keeping everything on schedule. Animals, however, pay no attention to timetables and wander across the tracks whenever they like. A resident of Washington recorded a fascinating video showing how airplane fuselages are moved.
This for so long. This is how they transport the fuselages for the 737 plane. They come from Wichita, Kansas, on flatbed.
The bodies of Boeing 737s are built in Kansas, but final assembly happens in Washington state. To get there, each fuselage makes a 3,500-kilometer train journey that lasts nearly 12 days. During the torrential monsoon rains in Mumbai in 2018, the streets flooded rapidly. Yet life pressed on as usual. And remarkably, the city's trains continued running through the deluge. At Sapporo Station in Japan, a few small rail adjustments are all it takes to shift an entire train in a new direction, a simple but ingenious feature of the system. Deer often choose to walk along the tracks, not because they enjoy trains, but because the ground there is smoother and the swarms of insects are far fewer.
И быстрее, быстрее, смотри, бежать начинают.
Someone's luck really ran out when a train derailed high in the mountains, more than 4,000 meters above sea level. One freight car still remains perched at the top, standing as a grim reminder of why respecting speed limits is so critical. In one collision with a car, no one was hurt. But the consequences were still severe. 12 carriages came off the rails, and more than a kilometer of track was so badly damaged that it had to be fully replaced. This particular train isn't just for passengers, it doubles as a snowplow. Designed back in the 19th century, it was built to deal with enormous snowdrifts that earlier equipment simply couldn't handle. In 2018, a Japanese steam locomotive made its final trip. Naturally, rail enthusiasts and locals alike gathered in large numbers to bid farewell to the beloved train as it retired from service. Today's modern trains can be coupled far more quickly than in the past, but watching the process is still captivating, especially when it involves sleek, high-tech carriages.
De overschietskade 62 Veldhoek. Ja, dat is begrepen. Er ligt een boom op
Hij komt tegen een ding aan.
Ja, correct.
Once just an ordinary train, this line has since been transformed into a unique attraction, offering tourists a new way to enjoy the ride.
Едет свой.
Они ничего никуда не уходят. Все на рабочем местах.
It's looked like never-ending cycle.